Man, American life is busy. When I was a college student, I thought, surely, as soon as I graduate college, my life will get a whole lot easier and a whole lot simpler. I won't be quite as busy. Then I got married and I got a full time job, and life got busier somehow. And then I thought, well, once I have kids, certainly my life will get a lot easier and a lot less busy. We had 4 kids in 5 years, and so yeah, my life did not get any easier. And then I thought, surely, once these kids grow up and can dress themselves and mow the yard for me, surely my life will get a lot easier at that point. That was not the case either. And what I found is what you are all discovering. American life is so busy. I find myself from time to time longing for this simplified life, this life of simplicity. And for the longest time, I romanticized that as a cabin in the woods kind of a life, a cabin in the woods kind of simplicity, or maybe a day at the beach kind of a simplicity where I'm off by myself and nobody else is around. There's no technology. There's nobody trying to interrupt me. That's what I romanticized as living a simplified kind of a life. Something happened to me when I wrote the chapter for this book on simplicity. I uncovered evidence that forced me to have to redefine how I think about simplicity and what that really means. Simplicity is not defined as having fewer possessions or having fewer things to do and living this isolated kind of a monk-like existence. Simplicity, at least as Jesus defines it, seems to revolve around having a single focus. Jesus said it this way: if your eye is single, if you have one eye, if your eye is single with a focused vision, then your whole body will be full of light. He clarifies later in that chapter, in Matthew chapter 6, that if you set your focus, seek first the kingdom of God, and then all that other stuff the Father will worry about for you. Stuff like what you eat and what you're going to wear and where you're going to go and how all the details of life work themselves out. Have a single focus and make that focus on the kingdom of God, and God will see that you have everything you need. The pagans run after all those other things. It's not to be so among the people of God, who are to seek first the kingdom. So this gives me hope. It gives me hope that if Jesus can practice simplicity, even though by my count he is one of the busiest public figures in the ancient world. But in that busyness, he has a single focus. He's focused in on the kingdom of God, and he will allow nothing to distract him from that focus. He has occasion too. There was an occasion where this woman brings her sons, they're James and John, to ask Jesus if they can sit at his right and his left in his kingdom. And Jesus basically says, that's not my place to say. He's focused on the kingdom, but this request is to pull him away from that, and he won't get involved in it. Another time, a guy brings to Jesus this request, hey, tell my brother to give me my share of the inheritance. And Jesus' response is pretty direct. I'm not your judge. He refuses to get involved in that petty family squabble, even with Mary and Martha. Martha say, hey, Jesus, tell Mary to get up off her lazy butt and come in here and help me. And Jesus says, no, I'm not going to do that. She's chosen something good. I'm not going to take that away from her. So he has occasion to get involved in stuff that's not the kingdom, and he won't do it. Every time he rejects that because he knows that his life focus is on the kingdom of God. And even though he's busy, his primary focus is one. His eye is single, and that focus is on seeking first the kingdom of God. Do you have a single focus? I mean, do you have a focus in life that is based on the kingdom? And if so, then all of your activities will naturally follow from a desire to do right by the Father and to do even the most mundane activities of life in a way that pleases God and advances his cause. If not, if you have your focus on two things, maybe one eye on the kingdom and one eye on your career, or one eye on family, or one eye on sports, or one eye on media stuffs, Jesus says your whole body will be full of darkness. And if what is you think is light inside you is actually darkness, then that must be a pretty dark place. Jesus doesn't want you to be divided. He doesn't want you to be doubly focused. He knows the stress that that causes, and what Jesus wants for you is a life that is wholly committed and sold out to the kingdom of God. And if you do that, your whole body will be full of light. So as we continue to study today, let me ask you that question. What do you need to do in order to make sure that your life is more singly focused on the kingdom of God? Because I promise you, it won't be stressless. It could involve some stress, but I tell you, it's a happier life. And it's the kind of life that's meaningful and worthwhile.